RMS Titanic was a British passenger and mail-carrying ocean liner operated by the White Star Line that sank in the North Atlantic Ocean on the 15th of April, 1912, as a result of striking an iceberg during her maiden voyage from Southampton, England to New York City, United States. Of the estimated 2,224 passengers and crew aboard, about 1,500 died, making it the deadliest sinking of a single ship up to that time. The disaster drew public attention, spurred major changes in maritime safety regulations, and inspired many artistic works. RMS Titanic was the largest ship afloat at the time she entered service, and the second of 3 Olympic-class ocean liners built for the White Star Line. She was built by the Harland and Wolff Shipbuilding Company in Belfast. Thomas Andrews Jr., the chief naval architect of the shipyard, died in the disaster. Titanic was under the command of Captain Edward John Smith, who went down with the ship. The ocean liner carried some of the wealthiest people in the world, as well as hundreds of emigrants from the British Isles, Scandinavia, and elsewhere throughout Europe, who were seeking a new life in the United States and Canada. All of the excitement turned to disaster on the evening of April 15, 1912. The story begins in 1909, in the heart of Belfast, Ireland. This was the home of the White Star Line Company, a titan in the shipping industry, set on making a statement with their newest creation, the Titanic. This was not just any ship. The Titanic was a marvel of engineering, a testament to the power of human ingenuity. Towering at over 175 feet high, with a length of 882 feet, she was the largest moving object ever built by humankind. The Titanic was designed to exude luxury. From her grand staircase to her opulent first-class suites, she was a floating palace. But more than her size and luxury, Titanic was touted as unsinkable, a claim that added to the excitement and anticipation of her launch. With the promise of luxury and safety, the Titanic was set to make her maiden voyage, a journey that would go down in history. On April 10, 1912, the Titanic set sail from Southampton, England, destined for New York City. Aboard the ship were over 2,000 souls, a diverse mix of passengers from the cream of high society to hopeful immigrants seeking a fresh start in America. The crew, too, was a varied group, from experienced seamen to young lads on their maiden voyage. As the Titanic traversed the Atlantic, passengers reveled in her grandeur. Days were filled with laughter, music, fine dining, and the anticipation of reaching the new world. Yet beneath the surface of this idyllic journey, an impending doom was lurking. On the night of April 14th, a seemingly insignificant event occurred that would forever change the course of maritime history. A lookout spotted an iceberg directly ahead. Despite the crew's frantic efforts to steer clear, the Titanic grazed the iceberg, causing a fatal wound to her side. As lifeboats were hastily launched, many were not filled to capacity, a tragic oversight that would cost hundreds of lives. In the freezing waters, those left on the sinking ship faced an unimaginable fate. Desperate cries echoed in the night, gradually fading as the Titanic disappeared beneath the waves. Those aboard Titanic were ill-prepared for such an emergency. Lifeboats were only intended to transfer passengers to nearby rescue vessels. Titanic only had enough lifeboats to carry about half of those on board. The crew had not been trained adequately in carrying out an evacuation. The officers did not know how many they could safely put aboard the lifeboats, and launched many of them barely half full. The women and children first protocol was generally followed when loading the lifeboats, and most of the male passengers and crew were left aboard. Women and children survived at rates of about 75% and 50%, while only 20% of men survived. Between 2:10 and 2:15 a.m., a little over 2.5 hours after Titanic struck the iceberg, her rate of sinking suddenly increased as the boat deck dipped underwater and the sea poured in through open hatches and grates. As her unsupported stern rose out of the water, exposing the propellers, the ship broke in 2 main pieces between the second and third funnels, due to the immense forces on the keel. With the bow underwater and air trapped in the stern remained afloat and buoyant for a few minutes longer, rising to a nearly vertical angle with hundreds of people still clinging to it, before foundering at 2:20 a.m. It was believed that Titanic sank in one piece, but the discovery of the wreck many years later revealed that she'd broken in 2. Around 4 a.m., RMS Carpathia arrived on the scene in response to Titanic's earlier distress calls. 706 people survived the disaster and were transported by Carpathia to New York, Titanic's original destination, while 1,517 people died. Carpathia's captain described the place as an ice field that had included 20 large bergs, measuring up to 200 feet high, and numerous smaller bergs, as well as ice floes and debris from Titanic. Passengers described being in the middle of a vast white plain of ice, studded with icebergs. When dawn broke, the sea was eerily calm. Over 1,500 people had perished, their dreams and aspirations swallowed by the merciless ocean. Only a fraction of those aboard had survived, with their lives forever marked by the catastrophe. The sinking of the Titanic sent shockwaves around the world. This horrific incident sparked international outrage, leading to multiple inquiries to dissect what went wrong. In the wake of the disaster, maritime safety regulations underwent significant changes. The creation of the International Ice Patrol, the mandate for sufficient lifeboats, and the establishment of the SOLAS Convention are all testaments to the Titanic's impact on maritime safety. The Titanic's story didn't end there, however. It has continued to captivate the world's imagination for more than a century. The discovery of the wreck in 1985 by Robert Ballard further rekindled the public fascination and was later immortalized by the James Cameron movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, winning multiple Oscars, including Best Movie in 1997. Today, the Titanic still stands as a symbol of human ambition and the tragic cost of overconfidence. The Titanic's tragic tale serves as a stark reminder of human fallibility, the price of hubris, and the power of the sea. It is a poignant lesson that continues to echo through the ages, a testament to the enduring legacy of the Titanic.